Hello and welcome to your March 2022 forecast readings with me, Intuitive Rene. Always such an honor and privilege to be here for you, and thank you for giving me the space to create this kind of content that keeps you inspired, motivated, and enthusiastic about life. So we are looking at March 2022. I actually can't quite wrap my head around that, but anyway, um, what this video is a series of 12 individual videos that are the same but completely different. Basically, I record a single video for each sign of the zodiac using the same layout or the same spread, the same deck of cards, but obviously the cards that come through, the messages that come through, and the reading that comes through will be completely different for each sign of the zodiac. So there are 12 identical spreads or 12 identical readings, and you get to choose one based on your sun sign. And if you know yourself, your astrology, and you know your rising sign and your moon sign, you're welcome to watch those as well to get other aspects or just another angle on your own life and your own what's coming through for you during the month of March 2022. So these videos, these taroscopes as I call them, they are released the week before the new month. So in the last week of the previous month, you will get them, which is why you're now getting the March readings. And the way that I suggest that you work with this is obviously before the month starts itself, watch the video to get an idea of what's in store for you, what you need to be aware of, what you need to know about, what's coming up for you, so that you can almost plan and be prepared for anything. And then during the month, at least once, I would say about halfway through, but anytime that you find yourself facing a challenge or facing a problem, come back to the video and look at it, watch it again, even if you just pick out certain aspects of it, just to remind you and to help you stay focused on whatever it is that you need to stay focused on. So before I push the record button, I do all the behind the work scenes of connecting to spirit and setting the intentions and all of that other kind of good stuff, and making sure that I set the intentions correctly for each one of you. So it is a collective reading, so it's for everybody who has the same sign of the zodiac, but each one of you will hear something different through the reading, and that's the intention that I set, and that's the way that I work with spirit. We're using the tarot just as a tool, just to help formulate, if I can say, the stuff that needs to come across. And for this month, for the month of March, I am working with two amazing decks. The first one I'm going to work with is if I can get the glare off, is the Enchanted Map Oracle. And the Enchanted Map Oracle is going to give us our theme for the month ahead. And it's the first card that we're going to draw through the reading. And like I said, I do love working with this particular deck. This is such an old deck. I think it's like one of the first that ever joined my collection from the Oracle point of view. And I mean, it is so old and grubby and dirty and fabulous. So I love working with Enchanted Map to give us our theme for the month ahead. And then, getting quite excited, I'm going to work with the Spacious Tarot. So the Spacious Tarot is a normal, typical tarot deck, but from a different perspective. The whole deck, every single card, if I remember correctly, there's no people in the deck, so it's almost like from your eyes. Okay, so it's if you're looking at whatever's in front of you, but from your eyes or from your vantage point, it's the Spacious Tarot. It's the space in front of you. So because we're doing a forward look, because we're looking at the month ahead, I thought working with the Spacious Tarot, and it's such a beautiful deck. The artwork is just exquisite. So quite looking forward to working with Spacious Tarot as well. And of course, they're a beautiful sized deck. It's not overly large and difficult for me to shuffle and to work with. They're a beautiful size, perfect size as far as I'm concerned. So those are the two decks that I'm going to be working with. And as I mentioned earlier on, I am doing quite a detailed spread. I've got 10 cards or 10 card positions. So I'm going to shuffle and lay out 10 cards and read. It is the same format that I used in February. So if you enjoyed the format I used, then we're going to work with the same format for the month of March. And we're going to lay out the 10 cards and just see what comes through for every one of you. This particular intro is a generic intro. So I'm recording this intro once, and I'm just going to add it into every single video that I create hereafter for the March Taroscopes. And I just do it to save myself repetitive talking, and also because when I start recording and I start like with Aries and move all the way through to Pisces, I get in the zone, okay? And because of that, I want to just, when I'm doing those readings, just get straight into it and bring through whatever information that you need. If you enjoy this kind of content and if you enjoy these taroscopes, I am just a small channel here on YouTube. I'm nobody big and fancy and fabulous. So the best way to support and to show appreciation for what I do is to give the video a thumbs up and a comment below. Get all your friends to come and watch. But the more you interact with the video, the more you're letting YouTube know that this is good content and other people need to see it. So YouTube will recommend it to other people, and that's the best way to support me. And also just to show me that, that you do enjoy what I do. So thank you so much, and let's get straight into your reading. Hello and welcome. Let's get into your reading and let's have a look and see what March 2022 has in store for you. So Pisces, I am shuffling my Oracle deck, which is the Enchanted Map Oracle. And while shuffling this, I'm looking for a single card that is going to give us the theme for the month ahead. The theme for March 2022 for all Pisces energy out there. All right, I think the cards are shuffled sufficiently. And I'm going to take that card over there. Let's have a look and see what is the theme for the month ahead. And we have the beautiful Gentle Gardener. It is card number 2. And here we have this beautiful, I want to call her Granny. You know, I want to say that she's got such a beautiful grandmother, a grandmother kind of energy about her. And she's looking down at her garden. And here we have these eggs. And the eggs are starting to hatch. Sorry, I'm breaking the camera coming too close. The eggs are starting to hatch, and we have these beautiful little fairy beings that are coming out of the eggs. And the Gentle Gardener, you see, she's not helping them. She's watching, she's observing, and she's ready. She's on hand should there be a problem, should she be needed. But actually, the truth of the matter is she's just allowing nature to take its course. She's just allowing things to unfold in whichever way that she needs to, and she's tending her garden without forcing the situation, without creating anything that is unnecessary or problematic or troublesome. But she's watching, she's observing, and she's very mindful, but she's almost waiting for the whole situation to reveal itself before she jumps into action. But she's so close, and she's so ready to help when, if and whenever is needed. Isn't she gorgeous? I'm trying to avoid the glare. And we have these tiny little fairy beings coming out of the shells, birthing themselves and coming into being. So what this means for you, Pisces, let's just place that one over there. So what this means for you is that March is going to be like, I don't know, the key phrase is Gentle Gardener. So that makes the assumption that this is who you are, this is who you need to be, this is what March has in store for you. But I'm wondering if you're not both. I'm really feeling like you're going to be both parties, both aspects of the Gentle Gardener, that you may be birthing something within yourself, and instead of trying to rush it, and instead of trying to force it, and instead of trying to create something unnecessarily or force it to speed up unnecessarily, that we have to be gentle with yourself through the process. I honestly think that's where I'm going, but let's let the rest of the deck, or let's let the tarot, once we've dished it out, let it tell the story that we need to hear. So just giving the cards, this is the Spacious Tarot that I'm working with for the month of March. Whoopsie. Just giving it a little shuffle. Okay, I think we're done. Put it back together, and I'm going to cut the deck over there. And now let's lay out the cards and see what part of this Gentle Gardener are we. Are we the lady watching, or are we the fairies being birthed, or are we both? Right, I'm going to lay out all the cards, and then I will start with the interpretation, because we want to make sure that we've got the full picture, the full understanding. Oh, loving it. Loving it, Pisces. Loving it, Pisces. And it just continues to get better. You know what? Like, I am actually a little bit completely and utterly blown away right here. Just be with me for a second. So, Pisces, we have got the Gentle Gardener, which is Spirit saying, let's not rush anything. Let's not force anything. Let's not make things happen out of their time. Let us let things evolve in its own time. Now, when I look at the 10 cards, I'm excluding that one when I say 10 cards. When I look at the 10 tarot that I have here, I'm mind blown, because we have got Ace of Cups, Two of Cups, Three of Swords, okay? Skip 5, right, of Cups. So we've got cups, cups, and cups. We've got one sword. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major arcana cards. Now the significance, first of all, 1, 2, 3, which means we go 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3 is significant on its own because everything starts at that base level of 1, and by the time we get to 3, we're in full speed. We're going. All right. So there is that. So the fact that we're starting off with the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, skip a few 5, even though we've got the 4 here. But again, there's this upward trend, this upward projection, okay? And then the fact that we've got 6 major arcana cards is again confirmation that whatever you're going through, whatever's happening for you during the month of March, it's going to be massive. just understand that, okay? It's going to be massive, Pisces. This is not going to be a simple month. This is not going to be a casual walk in the park kind of scenario. We're talking big stuff here. And looking at the cards, and I know you're probably all looking at this death card here going, having a bit of a panic, but please don't, because actually the position that this is in, position number 9, is not a scary position, especially that card in that position is not scary. So I'll get there. And also don't have the same thoughts about the devil either. I'll get through them. But I'm feeling like, you know what, we're on the verge of something big here. We're on the verge of a major change. And this is something that we can't rush, okay? We have to be patient. We have to be gentle, but it's like waiting for the birth of something to happen. So it's interesting that when I looked at that card, I couldn't determine if we're waiting for the birth to happen or if we're that gardener or if we are the individuals being birthed. I struggled to see and identify that, but I think it's because we're both. And we have to be patient with ourselves as we watch ourselves birth a whole new world, a whole new life, a whole new everything. So I do think this is incredibly powerful. All right, Pisces, let's get straight into it. March 2022 for Pisces is all about gaining clarity. And this Ace of Cups card, I love it. So Cups is the suit of emotion. It's the suit of feelings. It's the suit of the kind of, the feelings that we have about ourselves and about other people. And the Ace is about new feelings. And if you have a look at this particular card, this cup contains water, contains a life force, which is overflowing. You can see it's running and it's creating a river down the bottom here. But if we look through the liquid to the background, you can see how crystal clear everything is. Everything comes into focus. Everything becomes clear when we have this emotion, when we have this cup at our disposal. So the Ace of Cups, when we look at the gentle gardener, is Spirit saying to you, we're going to gain clarity. We're suddenly going to have an understanding around our feelings, around our situation, and around our circumstances. And we have to trust that. Okay, don't question the clarity that you get. Don't question, think, but it's supposed to be blurry. I want it to be blurry. See the truth, accept the truth, know the truth, be the truth. All right. So that's what March, how we step into March. We step into March trying on a pair of glasses for the first time and trying to understand what it is that we're actually looking at. What is it that we're actually feeling? What it is that we're actually going through. The challenge that you may experience. So Pisces, the problem or the challenge that you may experience is that you don't want to do anything on your own. Like everything we do, we want to share it with somebody else. We want to do it with somebody else. We want to have this joint connection or this joint partnership kind of situation. But the truth of the matter is, you are the only one getting the clarity. Nobody else is getting clarity. You are the one with the clarity. You are the one with the clear thinking, the clear mind, the clear circumstance. And again, you're the only one who needs to see. So if you try and bring somebody else along for the ride, so when you've got your clarity on what's going on, if you try and share that with somebody else, they're not going to understand it. They're not going to see it from your perspective. And because of that, they may actually pull you down. So this is Spirit saying to you, March is going to be about you getting clear vision. All right. And I don't know if that's literally or figuratively. You'll let me know in the comments below. But March is going to be about getting clarity. But you've got to recognize that this is a solitary thing. Okay, this is not really something that needs to be shared with somebody else. And the reason why we say that is because of this card here, which is the Three of Swords. Now, we have 3 swords that have pierced through to the snow. And I want you to note at the base of the swords, there is some blood. There is some life force. I mentioned that this cup was full of life force and the life force was flowing over. We've got birth taking place, and birth is life force, isn't it? She's being patient and she's waiting for the birth to take place, and she's watching and she's observing and she's watching and loving the process. But in order for something to be born, something has to die. These eggs are no longer eggs. Because they have now opened and because they have now revealed themselves, and because there's now someone that has come out of those eggs, those shells are no longer eggs. They are now just shells. So their lifespan as an egg has had to die, has had to end in order for birth to take place. And the Three of Swords is the card of heartbreak. It's the card of disappointment. It's the card of hurt and pain. And I think when you realize that this clarity is a solitary activity and a solitary function, and that you can't share it with somebody else, I think it may bring you a little bit of pain. Because, again, Pisces, you're the kind of person who you love with a big heart and you feel with a big heart, and you want to include everybody in your life. And you want everybody to share in your happiness and to share in your joy and to share in your activities. But the truth of the matter is people don't see things the way that you do. If you share your experience with people, they may try and control, they may try and push, they may try and feed, they may try and nurture, and actually by doing so they're going to crush you and crush. This is a very delicate situation that is unbirthing. Yeah. And you've got to be very mindful as to who you bring in, who you share this with, because not everybody is going to see it the way that you do. And I know that because of this card. So here we have the devil. All right. And when I look at this, I look through this whole artwork and I don't see any kind of scary character. But isn't the whole situation scary? Here we've got nightfall. We've got all these tall trees, leafless, branchless trees. It's dark. You can't see your hand in front of your face. There is a bit of a light there, but we don't know what that light is. We don't know what is actually shining there. And we're afraid of the dark. We're afraid of what we see. We're afraid of what we perceive in the darkness. We're so curious. We want to go and explore. We want to go and see, what is this light? What is this light? What is this light? But we know that it could be potentially dangerous. So now we're so tempted. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Do I share or don't I? Do I share or don't I share? What do I do? What do I do? And that's the situation that the devil, because the devil is like, you know what you're supposed to do, but you know what you want to do, and the two are very different. They clash. They don't come together, and that causes stress and anxiety. So Spirit is saying to you, Pisces, Spirit is saying to you, we understand. Okay, we understand the conflict. We understand the difficulty. Those of you who recognize this particular flower, you will know that it is a poppy, and you might know, and if you don't, I suggest you Google it, as to the significance of the poppy. Why we wear it, when we wear it, what it represents, what it stands for, etc., etc., etc. I'm not going to go into the history lesson, but the emperor here, okay, which is represented here by the poppy, is all about strength, standing up, being strong. And if you look at this particular poppy, he's way ahead of all his other friends, all right? He's more advanced than everybody else. And I think, Pisces, this is Spirit saying to you, you need to recognize that you are more advanced. The clarity that you have, the understanding that you have around your circumstance and what you're birthing is different to everybody else's. Now, if I bring this a bit closer, you can see that there's some poppies that haven't even started to open up yet. You can see that they're still buds. They haven't even started to open up yet. And then we've got some that are trying. They're trying to open up, but they're not as fabulous as you are. They're not as full and lush and beautiful as you are. And you know what? That's okay. So Spirit is saying to you, we get you. We understand. We understand that you're ahead of everybody else. We understand that you are bigger than everybody else, okay? And we understand that you want to love and you want to include, people in your life, in your success and in your adventure. But it's also about recognizing that each person is on their own journey. And just because you understand life, just because you understand the birthing of a situation, circumstance, or event, doesn't mean that other people will get that, because people are greedy, okay? And Pisces, I think this is the big lesson that you're going to learn during March, is how greedy people truly are, and how people will take whatever they want and leave you out in the dark completely on your own. And the reason I say that is because of this card. So here we have the Five of Cups, and the Five of Cups is the card of disappointment, heartbreak. So here we have all these cups that are broken. I mean, they can't keep any kind of liquid in. They are smashed beyond repair. They cannot be fixed. There's nothing that we can do to save them. They are beyond repair. So are you going to be sad and disappointed about these broken cups? Or are you going to say, hold a second, my place is here. I'm going to cross the river. I'm going to cross the stream, and I'm going to go to the other side because that's where I belong, because they understand. Yeah, they don't understand. So it's almost about understanding, recognizing, and having a comprehension about where you belong. And you belong as the gentle gardener. So Pisces, I know this is an incredibly credible, difficult kind of concept. I mean, this is really spirit saying to you that you've got to learn that when you understand things, that it's not always right to share that sometimes you've got to keep things to yourself, and sometimes you've got to focus on your own journey and your own place and recognize that you're different. You're not the same as you used to be. You're earlier on I said I didn't know if you were the gardener or if you were what's been given birth to, and now I want to say, are you even the egg? Are you the shell? So are you going to fixate on the broken shells, or are you going to change your focus to be on the fairies or to be on the gardener? So life is forever evolving, life is forever changing and ever growing. And I think, Pisces, this is Spirit saying to you, March 2022, this is the lesson, this is the experience, this is the understanding. So be aware of it, look out for it, and when it happens, when it unfolds, be very selective on who you share this with, on who you take on your journey, because not everybody has the same intentions as you do. Okay, it's a horrible lesson, it's a horrible kind of experience, but it's one that is really, really important. Now, down the bottom here, what we have here, we have this beautiful Empress card. I mean, I'm loving all the flowers, I'm loving the eagle, I'm loving the clear skies. Everything about this card is just absolutely gorgeous. The Empress is the forever nurturer. It's like she's Mother Gaia. She just nurtures, and she creates everything that we need, and everything is perfect, everything is beautiful, everything is wonderful. And this is how people see you, Pisces. People see you as this nurturer. They see you as this person who they can take advantage of, that you have so much to give that you won't miss if they take from you whatever it is that you need. They don't care about you. They're all very selfish. So people see you as somebody that they can take advantage of. Yes, they see you as strong. Yes, they see you as capable. Yes, they see you in that way, but they also see that you'll always be there for them. You'll never turn them down. You'll never say no to them. You will always be there for them. And the truth of the matter is, absolutely, of course, yes. So you are that person. You are that person who is there for everybody. I mean, here we have all these constellations in the sky, and this is representative of the earth. And we've got the sky, we've got the mountains, and we've got the waters leading back to the core center. And this is exactly who you are, Pisces. You are always there for other people. You're always putting yourself first. You're always saying, well, I'll worry about me later. But the truth of the matter is, it's time that you worried about yourself now. It's time that you understood and recognized what it is that you need to give birth to, what it is that's about to blossom into life. And you've got to watch carefully, watch safely, watch from a safe distance, without interfering, but to recognize that not everybody needs to be witness to your success, achievements, and accomplishments. And this is where this amazing death card comes into play. I call it an amazing death card. Now, the first thing I notice are these two hands, these two skeletons are going to grab. Okay? They're not out palm up. So they're not saying give, they're like, I'm going to take. I'm going to grab. Like, can you see that? Can you see that? That's what they're doing. They're wanting to grab. What are they grabbing? Purity. Okay. Now, let me explain something to you with the death card as well. If you've been following my work for any amount of time, you will know that the death card is not one to be frightened of or scared of. You will know that the death card is inevitable because change is happening. It's the only constant in life is change. And the death card is change. It's about letting go of a portion of ourselves, a part of ourselves, so that another part can blossom. And as I'm holding the card like this, I'm looking at that poppy over there, and I'm seeing, besides for the colors, I'm actually seeing quite a few similarities between the two. And what I'm drawn to is the center. I'm drawn to the center of the flower, which is where the seeds are, isn't it? So if the skeleton hand here grabs that flower and sort of holds it and crushes it in its hand, it's going to destroy the beautiful flower, sure, okay? But what it's also going to be doing is it's going to be germinating the rest of the seeds. It's going to be spreading the rest of the seeds so that more can grow. And I think that talks to people's greed. It talks to people not caring about you, not caring about your circumstance. And this is what you need the clarity on. You need the clarity on understanding people's motives. So people are reaching out to crush that flower, not to destroy it, but to own it. And you're not about that, Pisces. You know, yes, we want to own pretty things, and yes, we want to own nice things and all of that. But I think your biggest fear is people coming in and taking what is rightfully yours and taking advantage of it, because they have been. People have been taking advantage of you for the longest time. So March is going to be about getting that clarity to understand who you can trust and who you can't trust, who's going to hurt you, who's going to abandon you, or who's going to stand there with you, and where you truly fit in and where you truly belong. And sometimes you have to walk away from the people that just take and take and take from you all the time. Don't feel just because they've been in your life for a long time doesn't mean that they have to be there. Okay. And finally, Pisces, finally, the creme de la creme of your cards, we have the star card. And I'm so absolutely amazed at how often this particular card has come out in all the zodiac readings that I've done for March 2022. The star card has come up so much, which is an indication of, I'm going to say, our community, that we all need a little bit of what this card has to offer. The star card is the card of hope, it's the card of renewal, and it's the card of healing. It's the card that says to you, you know what, amongst all the chaos, amongst all the thievery and theft and backstabbing craziness, everything's going to be okay. As long as we, like Peter Pan, as long as you believe, as long as you believe, and I'm bringing Peter Pan into it because we've got the fairies over here, okay? So we need to believe in magic. We need to believe in possibilities. We need to believe that anything is possible as long as our life force is flowing and running. As long as our cup runneth over, everything's going to be okay. But we do need to learn how to be selective and cautious around who we share what aspects of our life with. So, friends, are you going to be the person who quietly watches from afar? Are you going to allow circumstances, situations, and events to birth themselves in your life without forcing them, without helping them, or without nudging them? Just let things unfold in their own natural time and realize that through the birth of whatever it is that you're birthing, there will be something that needs to be discarded. We've got discarded here, we've got discarded here, and we've got discarded over there. Okay, so unfortunately you cannot have evolution, you cannot evolve, you cannot improve yourself without losing parts of yourself. And I think this gentle gardener is saying that, you know, I'll always remember a time when I was a lot younger and I was in the garden and my mom was doing gardening, and you know, that kind of question like, oh, look at this pretty flower, and you pick it and you go running to your mom and she says, no, that's a weed. You know, it's all relative, isn't it? And it's a constant process of pulling out the weeds and deciding what you're keeping and what you're getting rid of. And I do think, Pisces, this is exactly what you're facing in March 2022. And I honestly, looking at all of these cards, I'm tempted to say it's not going to be as easy as we think. It's not going to be a simple process, but it is going to be one that you're going to have clarity on in order to see the truth and in order to not just assume that everybody is to be trusted. All right. I hope it's a good one for you, Pisces, and I hope that this reading helps you to just, if I can say, to work through whatever it is that you need to work through. With blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care.